Hi, everyone, and welcome to Effortless Releasing. It's great to be with you all. This is going to be a fun course. It's a shorter course, but focused on just helping you have releasing become a lot easier and more fun. And this is the first course we've done in a very long time where it's not just me. I'll be joined by Susan, Owen, Leah, and Andrea starting tomorrow. And I'm really looking forward to that. And I think you're going to really enjoy hearing about releasing from different perspectives and being guided through releasing from different perspectives. It's going to be a lot of fun. So, releasing in general, as you probably already know, is already a lot more effortless than most things that we do in life to try to help ourselves, to improve ourselves. And this course is designed to make it even easier and more natural. And in the first session, which I'll be leading, we'll be focusing on the most simple things that really help with releasing. And first off, what do we mean by releasing? Releasing is just simply letting go or dropping whatever it is that appears to be holding you back from having, being, and doing whatever you will or desire, or from recognizing that what you are actually is boundless, timeless, dimensionless, spaceless, and ever new. And there actually aren't any true boundaries or blocks to that second thing, because everything that's apparently happening is already that. And I'll talk with that a little bit in this session, but I'll be talking more about that in the last session. But the underlying focus of the method is that feelings and thoughts and our beliefs about ourselves are just that. They're not who we are. They don't even belong to us. And they're not facts. They're not true. We think our limitations are true. We think they're factual. And they're not. As you let go, you've probably already experienced that something that you thought was insurmountable became easy, or maybe ceased to be a problem through letting go, through allowing things to be easy and natural as they actually already are. And so as you just simply are open to at least the possibility that you aren't your thoughts and feelings, you aren't your problems, that their life itself is boundless, is already living fully as itself. The more there's even an openness to that, the more releasing becomes natural, easy, and fun. And one of the tools in the releasing tool chest, actually before I talk about that, I should probably talk a little bit about the tools in the releasing tool chest. And now, for some of you, this is just a review. For others, it's brand new. And either way, it's very helpful to be reminded. So there are actually 5 ways of letting go. The first is by simply deciding to drop it. That's where we use could you, would you, when. And since that is the most basic form of releasing, I assume that if you're listening to this, you're already familiar with that. So we won't be emphasizing that in this session. The next way of letting go is through welcoming or allowing or noticing or just simply being open to the thoughts and the feelings. Now, that is the simplest way of letting go, because you can release inaction the most easily by simply remaining open. So that's what we'll be focusing on. The third way of letting go is by diving into the core of any emotion. When you dive into the core of any emotion, you can discover that there's actually nothing inside. It's empty, it's hollow, it's filled with light and love and spaciousness. But that's not actually how it feels most of the time, because we live life on the surface. And because we believe our thoughts are who we are, we don't even recognize that there's more depth to it than that. And another way of letting go is holistic releasing or holistic welcoming, where when you allow yourself to discover and explore, you'll notice that everything that we experience in life, whether it be real or only imagined, arises in pairs or is all about two. If you have in, you also have out. If you have right, you also have wrong. If you have good, you also have bad. The two define and confine each other. Yet there really isn't this duality. There really isn't two. And this can be especially obvious with our emotions. We think that our emotions live in opposition to each other, and that's actually how it feels. But what you can discover is if that you welcome both sides of the polarity, for instance, love or hate, or right or wrong, or good or bad, when you welcome both sides, the illusion that they're separate dissolves, revealing the boundlessness, the spaciousness that already is. And so their life is experienced from a much more natural, expanded perspective, naturally, easily, effortlessly. And Leah will be touching on that to some degree in this course. And so the last way of letting go is something called the fifth way, or the free way, or no way. And that's based on the fact that this sense of me that seems so real, that all thoughts and feelings appear to relate to or belong to, is not as real as it seems. And through questioning that illusion, it can be seen through. And each time you see through that illusion of the separate individual, there's a tremendous amount of letting go, tremendous. And I'll be exploring that with you in session 6. So let's explore welcoming. So when you think of welcoming, sometimes you might go, well, I don't want to welcome what doesn't feel good. Well, when you're rejecting what you're feeling, it just seems to get more sticky. It just seems to feel magnified. But when it's allowed, or when it's welcomed, or just simply noticed, the feeling starts to dissipate immediately. That's why we usually include welcoming in all the different forms of releasing. And so if you allow yourself, if you struggle with the word welcoming, you could use allowing, you could use noticing, you could use just, is that what's apparently happening? All of those are synonyms for each other. And as you find that you experiment with including welcoming more into your releasing practice, you can quickly get to the point where it's no longer a practice. There can be this discovery that welcoming is natural, because that which truly is, this boundlessness that all is naturally allowing or welcoming of everything, not as something that it does, not as something that you need to do. It's something that's natural. It's something that's going on all the time. We just get distracted from it when we hold on, when we reject what is, when we think it needs to be different than the way it is, when we feel like life will be okay when, or this can't be okay the way it is. And what naturally happens as there's more of a sense of welcoming, or the welcoming that is naturally comes more to the surface, there's a natural allowing what is to be as it is. Now, there may be a hesitance to do that too, because for most of us, life needs to be different than the way it is, because this is just not okay. Well, this not okay with life the way it is not natural, is not normal. Well, it is become normal because this is how most of us experience life, but it isn't what's natural. What's natural is an allowing of what is to be the way it is. And as that happens, both through our apparent efforts and through naturally uncovering this boundlessness that already is, it's the perfect springboard for letting go. The more there's allowing what is to be the way it is, the easier it is to let go of what you don't want and have what you do want. So let's do a nice long release on welcoming. And welcoming can be applied not just to emotions, but to sensations, to pictures, to sounds, to seeing, to hearing, to feeling, to knowing, to owning, all the things that we appear to experience. So this, whatever's apparently happening, what if it is already wholeness? What if it's already enough as it is? Now, I'm just saying what if. If it's not your experience at this moment, that's okay. But what if it's at least possible? You find just being open to that is a relief, is an opening. And it just is the perfect springboard to letting go, to just simply being wholeness. And allow there to be a focusing on just simply hearing. Could you notice hearing? Could you allow hearing? Could you welcome hearing? Is hearing welcomed or allowed? Is hearing what's apparently happening? Now, obviously, it's apparently happening because this is being listened to. Now, even with your eyes closed, there's also seeing. You can tell if there's a shift in the room, in its lights and shadows, because seeing is happening. So could that be welcomed or allowed? Could seeing be noticed, allowed, or welcomed? Is seeing apparently happening? And could you just notice feeling? Allow feeling. Allow the sensations that are arising. Even if you're not aware of an emotion, there is feeling. There's the feeling of your skin being touched or kissed by the air. There's the feeling of whatever you're sitting on or standing on. There's the feeling of energy or aliveness in the body. There's the feeling of emotion. And is that welcomed or allowed or noticed? Is that what's apparently happening? And there may be also a noticing or an allowing of thoughts, thinking. We often struggle with our thinking. We try to quiet our mind or have positive thoughts. We can be at war with thinking. But for a moment, just simply notice that thinking is apparently happening. There may or may not be thoughts arising. And could they be welcomed or allowed or noticed? Is thinking apparently happening? And after just focusing on thinking and feeling and the other senses, thinking and feeling are just senses, just like hearing and seeing, tasting and touching. But simply by welcoming or noticing or allowing that, notice how there's more calmness felt, more openness felt, more aliveness may be felt. So this is one thing you can do if you're struggling with your emotion or you just want to open to life itself and clear the runway. Just simply allow or welcome or notice the senses, including the thinking and feeling sense. And you can also take it further. Check to see if there's anything in what appears to be your life that feels like it needs to be fixed or changed. And when things feel like they need to be fixed or changed, we often say no to them. We do the opposite of welcoming what is. So allow yourself to just simply focus on something in your life that appears to be a need to be fixed or changed or controlled. And could you just simply welcome or allow or notice that feeling or story or group of thoughts or memories? And could you do that even more? Could you just simply welcome whatever is appearing in response to that. Is it welcomed or allowed? And could you welcome as well at least the possibility that that is not as real and as personal as it appears? Could you be open at least to the possibility that that can be dissolved? So could you just welcome that possibility that that apparent problem or issue is not as real, as solid, and as meaningful or as important as it appears? Is that welcomed or allowed? Is that what's apparently happening? And then could you focus on that same thing or anything else that you'd like to fix or change or control or understand? And again, I'm not saying you shouldn't understand it. It shouldn't be fixed. But generally, when we're wanting to understand or fix something, it becomes a loop. It gains weight and apparent solidity. We identify with it and inadvertently make it seem to be real. So could you just simply welcome whatever's come to mind, allow it, notice it, be more open to it? Is that welcomed or allowed? Is that what's apparently happening? And then could you also welcome or be open to the possibility or allow or notice that it may not be as contracted, as real, as meaningful, as important as it seems? Could that possibility be welcomed or allowed, noticed, at least be open to? Is that welcomed, allowed, or noticed? Is that what's apparently happening? And check to see if there's anything about the world that you're rejecting or wanting to change, resisting. And whatever's come to mind, could you just allow or welcome or notice that? Is that welcomed or allowed? Is that what's apparently happening? And then could you be open at least to the possibility? Could you welcome or wow or notice at least the possibility that that is not as real, meaningful, important, heavy as it appears? Again, could you just welcome at least the possibility of that? Is that welcomed or allowed? Is that what's apparently happening? And then could you focus on life in general, or the world, or the news, or anything that you might have been feeling disturbed by? And is that welcomed or allowed or noticed? Could you just welcome, allow, or notice it as best you can? And then could you also welcome at least the possibility that it's not as real and dense and meaningful and important as it appears? Is that welcomed or allowed? Is that what's apparently happening? And again, allow yourself to focus on whatever's apparently happening in the world, and any wanting to fix or change or control or understand it. And could it just be allowed or welcomed or noticed as it is, as it appears? And then could you be open at least to the possibility? Could you welcome at least the possibility? Could you allow for at least the possibility that that isn't as real and as meaningful and as true and as immutable as it appears? Is that welcomed, allowed, or noticed? Is that what's apparently happening? And then, once you've done a little releasing like we just did together, one of the things you can do is, and you can, by the way, you can do this anytime in life. Generally, what happens when we're having feelings, we think we need to get rid of them, fix them, change them, even through releasing, in order for everything to be okay. But what if the feelings, the thoughts, are not actually a problem? Or at least is not as much of a problem as they appear. And one of the ways you can recognize that is to, no matter what is apparently happening, although it is easier to notice this after you've already released a little, could you just welcome at least the possibility that this is wholeness, This is freedom. This is enough. Or another way you can approach this is, could you welcome the spaciousness, the openness, the ease? Could you allow it? Is that too what's apparently happening? The ease and openness that's often revealed from releasing can reveal itself if it's invited to by simply welcoming it, allowing it, noticing it. Even when things feel or seem the most contracted or the darkest, there is still wholeness and light and love. It may just not be on the surface, so to speak. So again, could you just welcome the boundless nature of all that is? Could you welcome lightness, openness, ease, happiness, even bliss? Could you just allow that, welcome that, notice that as best you can? Is that welcomed or allowed? Is that too what's apparently happening? Is this immediacy already open and alive and welcoming? Okay, good. So, just to review, welcoming whatever's being felt, no matter how heavy it is, allowing it, using whichever synonym you feel the most comfortable with, immediately starts dissolving the sense of burden, the sense of contraction. 2 is you can also welcome what's beyond that, what's its opposite, what's the wholeness, the beauty, the fullness that's also here, even when it seems obscured. And the other thing that's really helpful is to just simply welcome what's apparently happening, seeing, hearing, tasting, touching, thinking. Just welcoming that is very opening and relaxing and makes it much easier to release on even our apparent heavier or more apparent real problems. So that's how you can start applying it in life. So the floor is open to questions, sharing, and assistance. So if you have anything you'd like to ask, share, or get assistance with, please raise your hand now. Bobby.
Hale, thank you so much for this wonderful course and the wonderful teachers, facilitators that are going to be here. It's just such a gain just to be in this community and this wonderful method. And yeah,
Well, it's also
so
a gain to have all the people on the phone who are listening to
yeah,
this.
everybody organizing themselves to be here. It's
Yes,
amazing.
yeah, it's
Yes,
great.
it's really wonderful. Yeah. So yeah, feeling more quiet just from the beginning of the call. I'm just pretty stirred. I'm moving, which is great. And 95-year-old dad's coming with us, and there's lots of apparently happening in the Bobby story. So it's like a natural waves of overwhelm. And
Sure.
so, I just thought I'd jump in there, everybody, do a little overwhelm release.
Oh, sure. Well, one of the things that happens is even when the change that's apparently happening in life is something that we want, we're not always that welcoming or open to it. We're trying to change what is without really wanting anything to change. Do you know what I mean?
Perfect. Perfect. Well put. Yeah,
So I think I'll do a release for everybody on that
that's
because that
great.
because that is something that people a place that people get caught is yes, there's tremendous wanting to change what is, but when it starts to change, that can be sometimes even more overwhelming because we want to hold everything together and hold on to the way it was as opposed to just allowing what is to be as it is. So I'm going to do that with everybody, and I'll check back in with you, Bobby.
Okay.
So allow yourself to just simply be and be and be, even though beingness doesn't need to be allowed, it already is. And then check to see if there's anything that you're wanting to change, but also are afraid of it changing. Something that you want to be different, but you don't know how it may turn out if it changes. And whatever has come to mind, could you welcome, allow it, notice it? Is that what's apparently happening? And then could you welcome both the wanting to change and the wanting it to stay the same? Those two opposing energies. Could that be allowed or welcomed? And then as best you can, just for now, could you let that go? Just could you? Would you? When? And then could you be open at least to the possibility that whatever's apparently happening, whether things appear to be staying the same or changing, is just an appearance. It's just what's happening. And could you just allow life, welcome life, as it's unfolding, as it's appearing, as best you can? Another way of describing welcoming is just saying yes. So could you just simply say yes inwardly to life, inwardly to this, whatever's apparently happening? Just do that as best you can. And often when things, even the things you want to change, are changing, there's a yes and a no. They kind of fight with each other. So could you just welcome both the yes and the no? What if it's just heads and tails of the same energy? Is that welcomed or allowed? Is that what's apparently happening? And then again, check to see, focus on that same thing or anything else in your life where you want it to change, but you want to hold on to the way it is at the same time. Or you want it to change only in a particular way. You're wanting to control or manipulate the change. Make it change in an orderly fashion. Only the way you say it can. And whatever has come to mind, could you just allow it or welcome it or notice it? Maybe even embrace it, unless that feels like it's too much. Is that welcomed or allowed? Is that what's apparently happening? And then could you welcome any remaining wanting it to change and wanting to control how it changes or wanting it to stay the same at the same time? Is it allowed or welcomed? And then as best you can, just for now, could you let that go? Just could you? Would you? When? And then could you just allow whatever's apparently happening, that which appears to be changing and that which appears to be staying the same? That which is. How is that, Bobby? I'll just move on. Giovanni.
Hi, could you
Hi.
do a release? Could you do a release on fear, like around all the wanting to be controlled, or uh, like any wanting to die, or a group release around that, or
Oh,
around?
sure. Sure. So is there a specific situation you're thinking of, or is you want to just want to release on that in general?
Yes, there is a lot of fear has been coming up when I'm around people, and I see a lot of a pattern of wanting to be controlled when I'm out in public.
Oh, sure, sure. Okay, well, I think a lot of people can relate to that. Whether, good, I'll do a release on that.
Okay, cool, thank you.
So this immediacy, what if this is already wholeness, no matter how it's appearing? And then check to see if you always feel comfortable or uncomfortable or somewhere in between when you're apparently with other people. Whether it's a group of 2 or a group of 1,000, most of us have so many conflicting thoughts and feelings and beliefs and ideas about how we should be or could be, would be with other people. So check to see how you feel in social situations or just not necessarily socializing. It could be just going to the store, going to work. We're a social species, but many of us don't really feel comfortable with others, especially those of us who are more introverted, which is about 25% of the population, probably a higher percentage of those of us who are into self-exploration. And I just want to say, so everyone is at least open to this as a possibility, there's nothing wrong with being introverted. Introverted people are the same as extroverted people. It's just that introverted people get solace from their own company. They get energy from within, or at least they recognize that to some degree. And extroverted people feel often that they need others. The external is where the energy comes from. And neither one is good or bad, or right or wrong, or better or worse than the other. But introverts often feel that there's something wrong with them. So just know that that's not true. So check to see if there's any discomfort around any social situation. And if there is, could it just be welcomed or allowed or noticed? And then check to see if there's any wanting to control or be controlled, wanting approval or wanting disapproval, wanting security or wanting to be separate or one. And whichever want you're most aware of in this moment. Could it be just simply welcomed or allowed? Could you notice it? Allow it or welcome it. And then as best you can, just for now, could you let go of wanting that? Would you? When? And then could you be open at least to the possibility that there can be ease and safety and comfort and competence when alone or with people? And again, check to see if there's any discomfort being in social situations. And if there is that welcomed, allowed, or noticed? Is that what's apparently happening? And then dig a little deeper and check to see if there's any wanting to control or be controlled, wanting approval or disapproval, wanting security, wanting to be separate or wanting to be one, that you're aware of. And if there is, by the way, if you're not sure, just pick one. You can't get it wrong. Sometimes it feels like yes, all the above, and that can be released too. So, but whichever one you're either most aware of or ready to let go of, could you just allow it or welcome it or notice it? And then as best you can, just for now, could you let that go? Just could you? Would you? When? And then could you just welcome or allow or be open to the possibility that there can be ease, fun, joy, comfort, security, competency when alone or with people. Either way. And let's do that one more time. If there's any discomfort at all, being with people, could you just welcome or allow it? Notice it. Is that what apparently happens? And whichever want that's coming from, without thinking about it too much, is it welcomed or allowed or noticed? And then as best you can, just for now, could you let it go? Just could you? Would you? When? And then could you also welcome or allow or be open to at least the possibility that there can be openness, ease, competency, even relaxation and joy when alone or with people? The apparent boundary can dissolve. It may even get to the point where there's no difference. Okay, good. Amanda.
Okay, I think I unmuted myself. Yeah.
Yes, you did.
Okay, thank you. I guess my question is, this is all very new to me. I just found you on the Liturgist podcast on Thursday night, and the universe hit correctly and found this work, and it's amazing.
Oh,
My
great. That's
question,
quick.
my
That's
question
nice.
is though, I consider myself a pinball machine of a brain.
Uh-huh.
I'm very good at controlling it externally. I seem very chill. I seem very calm. Internally, it's like a pinball machine.
Sure.
When going through these exercises and my mind starts pinballing and just everything is there a recall to support my focus again or
Oh, yes, yes.
that
Well,
kind of deal?
first, the first thing is, can you just allow it to the ping pong to just simply happen? When we're trying to stop something like that from happening, it just seems to intensify it. Haven't you noticed that?
Mm.
So could you just allow it, welcome it? By the way, I'm not doing a process with everyone. I'm actually asking you a question. So,
I don't think you can. Oh, I'm back. So I, so I guess the question is like, even if I guess, and maybe this will be change in time. So even if it's the whole process of me working on this is just allowing these ping pong pinball
yes,
machine,
yes, yes,
just
yes,
allow
yes,
it,
yes. Just
even
allow
if
it.
it's not working on.
Yes, yes. See,
Okay.
especially when we do longer processes,
Right.
one of the things that tends to happen is the mind will just go all over the place. And that generally quiets down very quickly. You may even notice a profound change before the end of this course.
Mm.
The more you release, the quieter the mind gets, the more positive the mind gets, the more open the mind gets. And it's not really about focusing so much. It's a misconception. A lot of us believe that we need to be more focused. But when there's always a focusing. It's just we may be focusing on turmoil. That's what and so trying to force that into something else can be a struggle. So if you just allow there to be a focusing on turmoil or on the ping pong, then it starts to relax and open.
Understood. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. And so you're not doing anything wrong if the mind first gets a little busy.
Yeah.
And the other thing you might notice when you're doing this process on your own or on a course like this is you might notice that if you're doing your best to let go, that even if you're not aware of a shift while it's happening, you'll start to notice it afterwards.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. Constantine.
Hello, Hale. Can you hear me?
Hello. Hi.
Hi. I have a question about releasing. A problem I'd have was it feels to me like I can laugh when I release,
Yes.
but nothing changes. So it's a sense of desperation that, like, I laugh in the moment, I feel a little bit better, but my life stays the same.
Yes. Well, but are you wanting to control your life?
Yeah. Yeah.
Just for now, can you let go of wanting to control your life?
Just for now, yeah.
Yeah, good. But what you're experiencing is very common. What happens is often what we try to do is use releasing to manipulate or change or fix life. Does that sound familiar?
Oh, yeah.
And when you do that, it's not really fully letting go. There's can be, even if you're doing that, you can see tremendous benefits. But when you release when you actually let go of wanting to manipulate or control or force life to be a particular way, it's shocking how much life tends to align with what you're wanting or what's most appropriate in the moment. The more you try to make it be the way you think it should be, the more you're rejecting the way it is, and the more there's a sense of turmoil, and also there can be a sense of stuckness, which I think you've experienced both of, haven't you?
Yes.
So again, is there just a touch of wanting to fix or change or control life?
Yes.
And just for now, could you let go of wanting to fix or change or control life?
Yes. It's interesting. I actually can't stop laughing right now.
Well, the release is one of the things that you'll notice, whether you're releasing on a course like this or by yourself, is sometimes when you really let go, it starts to become a spontaneous thing that starts doing itself.
Mm.
And that's especially true when you're not trying to make something happen. When we're trying to make our releases happen, they tend to get stuck. And Susan tomorrow is going to be showing some wonderful things to help us all explore ways of making releasing easier by not forcing it as much, allowing it to be more natural.
Okay, I look forward to it.
Yes.
Thank you.
But in the meantime, could you let go of wanting to control life?
Yes.
Good.
Thank you.
Thanks. So, just before we end, I just want to say to everyone, start paying attention to your gains and insights. Start writing them down and start sharing them with us. We really find it really helps support us in getting this message out to the world. And it's also really helpful for you to write down your gains. So I highly recommend that. So that's all time we have for this session. We'll start again at 11 p.m. Pacific US time, where Susan will, I'll introduce Susan and she'll take us to whatever's next in this process. So thank you all. And that's all for this session.